Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves Transfer Podcast, the show that looks at all the latest transfer rumours that are out there in the news. I'm delighted to say firstly, Dave, that we are in Benidorm at the minute, as you can see. Lovely place. We've been here today. We're of course out here for pre-season with a few games that's happening. Wednesday, Alaves and Besiktas on Saturday, isn't that right?
Correct,
but most importantly, we're joined by Dave Azzopardi. Dave, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. Beautiful view. Obviously, anyone listening on the audio might have a bit of lovely well, it's not quite sea background, but traffic noise. But I mean, the view makes up for it. Yeah. So definitely watch on YouTube if you can. But yeah, looking forward to it, Matt. Obviously, today's podcast and the tour in general, bar the European games, not really been able to see Wolves in the sun. And even then in the European games it was never sunny, was it? So,
no, burnt today, man.
Yeah, I know. We haven't really been out much, so yeah, we're looking forward to the week, seeing lots of Wolves fans out and about. So yeah, it should be good fun. Yeah,
we saw a couple of familiar faces earlier today, didn't we? We were sat having a couple of beers as soon as we got here, and who else walked past? And Nathan Judah at the Express Star.
It's not even like we weren't even on the strip. It was like a random bar and restaurant in Benidorm.
Yeah, he had his top off. He was swinging it around in the. No, he wasn't. No. Yeah, it was good to see them. I think we're going to link up with those guys at some point this week. But I'm sure there's going to be loads of you coming over. More so probably tomorrow. So make sure you drop us a message, and of course we'll hopefully come and have a beer with you all, because there's a lot of you that we'd like to meet as well, because we always get comments and stuff, and we can nice to put a face to the name.
Correct.
That's correct, isn't it? Face to the name. Yeah. But without further ado, Dave, let's talk about the first rumour, which isn't a rumour anymore. Fabio Silva's loan deal to Anderlecht. It was confirmed today by the club. He signed a contract extension of 1 year with an optional year in the club's favour. Pretty smart business, isn't it, from Wolves, I feel?
Yeah, obviously we haven't really spoken about this one much. Only really when it first came out, probably just over a week ago now. Yeah. Or coming up to 2 weeks. It was a bit of a surprise at first. I was really disappointed when the news first came out, but when it sort of sunk in a little bit more, I think it is, like you said, good business for the club. They've extended his contract, like you said, got that option of an additional year as well, and it's a good opportunity for him now I'm not going to say a top European league, but in a team that are going to be fighting towards the top end of their table. He's going to get chances, he's going to get opportunities to score goals.
That was going to be my next question. Do you think it's a big enough step for him to, where does this leave Fabio Silva? Say he goes to Anderlecht and scores 20 league goals. Is his stock any higher because it's the Belgian league? I know they could be involved in the Europa Conference League, but
I think it's definitely higher. Yeah, I think if they qualify for the Conference League and he gets opportunities in there, that'll be great to see. But no, I think so. Some people might disagree. I would say Anderlecht, that level is probably on par with top end of the Championship, maybe. I think he's outside of the UK, so it takes him out of the limelight completely, which I think is a really crucial thing, because I think if he were to go to a lower Premier League side or a Championship side, there'd be so much attention on him. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but a little bit less pressure off on him from the Wolves end, the Wolves fans. So I know people know our thoughts on him, and I think
we've got the t-shirt on, mate. Got the Fabio Silva t-shirt. Gone but not forgotten. Hurry back, Fab.
Yeah. It's probably the only ever time I'll ever be able to wear it.
We dropped those t-shirts, and then an hour later it's like he's on his way to Anderlecht. We're like, this literally couldn't be timed any worse.
So yeah, limelight's off him. Good chance for him to knuckle down and score some goals in hopefully a league where he should be able to do it.
What does this mean for Wolves now, though, Dave? Surely another striker is imminent. I know, speaking to the Express and Star today, they said they're not expecting any imminent signings, but to let Silva go and God forbid Jimenez has a bad injury in the next few games, what does that mean? Wang Hee-chan up top, like they've got to be convinced that they've got someone lined up, or Jorge Mendes has got someone lined up for a replacement for Fabio.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they've sanctioned it without that in figure. But the Nathan Collins deal, I know there had been interest since the start of the summer, which we'll talk about, but that turned around really quick. So there's no there's no denying that Wolves might turn around a deal pretty quickly. I don't think it'll be this week whilst they're out in Spain, if I'm honest. But I think this is a missed opportunity, with Catrone staying away, obviously Bonatini. I'm not saying they were good enough, but, just to have Jimenez in the squad right now, in Alicante as the only out-and-out striker, you would expect if they're going to bring someone in, you'd want this to be a good opportunity. If they're bringing someone in, it's got to be before next weekend, though. As in the sporting games.
At the minute for Jimenez, I know last season he was top goal scorer, but I don't think that really says much. He had a poor season by his standards. For him now, well, pressure's off. The only bloke who was breathing down his neck to maybe getting ahead of him for minutes has gone to Belgium. Doesn't look like they're going to be bringing another striker in yet. I'm not saying he will take his foot off the gas, but competition's helping. You need that, and at the minute there just isn't that competition.
No, and it's not like there's a lot of teams that they might have a striker and then someone else that can do a job, but they might have good strikers in the under 23s. Wolves don't have that either.
No.
We've not had a proper, not out and out good number 9 in the 23s for a couple of years either. So it's definitely an area Wolves need to strengthen. And obviously we'll talk about a couple of targets shortly, but surprised that he's gone, Fabio, but at the same time, good opportunity for him. It
is, and it's obviously quite fitting that a lot of the links that have emerged the past week or so, and to be honest, there hasn't been that many. We were going to try and do something yesterday, weren't we? But a podcast, and it's like there's we're probably one more rumour away from doing it. So that there have been links for other strikers. This one last week, Dave, according to Tuta Mercato in Italy, Wolves are reportedly among the clubs interested in former Manchester City striker Edin Dzeko. He's 36 years of age now. He scored 13 league goals in Serie A last season for Inter. What are your thoughts on that? In terms of profiles, we say this about all the strikers we link with, and we'll say it about the last one we speak about. He certainly fits the mould in terms of what Bruno Lage is looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I think, did we say it on last week's transfer podcast about Italy and sources? I think Italian papers and stuff are just they're very 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 hit and miss, a lot more miss than hit, but I think despite his age, his goal output is still phenomenal. I would definitely be interested in taking him. I think his wage he's probably gonna still demand a pretty decent wage, but I'm not against it, but again, it's not a long-term solution. Maybe, like you said, get someone in like Dzeko for a year. Fabio does okay in Belgium, and then Dzeko leaves and Fabio comes back.
He scored goals everywhere he's been, and when he was at Manchester City, I loved him. I thought he was excellent.
Even before that in Germany,
Wolfsburg's an excellent footballer. But at 36 years of age, mate, do you feel that he may be looking for one last payday? Of course, we don't know what his temperament's like or his ambition and his drive, but it's always the concern, isn't it? And especially when, and all due respect to us, but it is a step down from playing for Inter to go to Wolves.
Yeah, it is. I think,
which is why it's probably a load of bollocks.
Yeah, no, I think it is. But a striker of that sort of profile, like you've said, is definitely someone that I think we'll be looking at. But I'm not against having that sort of experience. And someone that has played in the Premier League before, has performed in the Premier League before, albeit not for a number of years, but scoring goals at European level. So I would be against someone of that calibre and in that category, really.
In terms of his profile, though, it's what we've led to believe is what Lage is looking for. Someone who's a physical presence, almost like a archetypal number 9, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that if it is somebody of that mould that comes in, I think that bodes well for Wolves in the fact that you're not going to be relying on your number 9 to start every single attack. It's going to be more emphasis on your wide areas and your central midfielders to get more involved, which obviously pushes us more towards the back four that has been rumoured and spoken about so much over the last few weeks. So I think with Dzeko, if you can get it into him in and around the area, probably 8 or 9 times out of 10 he's at least going to hit the target. But our issue has been actually getting it into those sort of areas, hasn't it? We've said that over the last couple of years. So, it'd be interesting to see. But I think we've been linked with him before. A number of Premier League teams have been linked with him. So I would take that one with a pinch of salt in a minute.
Yeah, and I mean the teams that were touching me foot there, maybe a foot under the table. Leicester and Everton were the other clubs who were linked with him, which again it's an easy link to make, isn't it?
I think all three teams, we're a similar calibre, we've got similar budgets and
aspirations.
Sort of, exactly.
Even though Everton only stayed up by the skin of the teeth, they'll hopefully, for Everton's fans' sake, be be a lot stronger next season. Another striker, Dave, that has literally the news was broken about 5 minutes before we decided to record this podcast, and I know a lot of people are going to moan at the source. Wolves have been linked with Christian Benteke at Crystal Palace, and that's according to the Sun. I understand the sensitivity around reporting on the Sun, but they were the first to report on the Nathan Collins deal, so I thought would be worth bringing it up.
I get people. The Sun again is hit and miss in regards to news a lot, but they have broken Wolves stories before over a number of years, so it would be daft for us not to post and even just discuss it, to be honest. But yeah, Christian Benteke from Palace, he's turned into being a little bit of a meme, hasn't he? Let's say. Yeah. I mean, he's not hit the ground running since he's moved to Palace. Did really well at Villa all those years ago. Liverpool was never really given a huge opportunity, although he scored a couple of great goals at Liverpool. Look, for a first choice, I think he'd be someone that would come in and be happy to be a backup. But I think Wolves fans would probably want a bit more, someone that he's going to, like you said, challenge Raul a little bit more. Offers similar sort of things to Dzeko, you would argue, a little bit more of an aerial presence, someone that can hold up the ball a little bit more. It sounds like I'm making it sound like I want him, that, to be fair.
See, who's agent or something?
No, but I think it's easy to get excited when you haven't had any solid links for a while, isn't it? But yeah, we'd be a little bit. You'd have to wait until he starts. He plays his first game for Wolves, but I think we'd be a little bit of a laughing stock if this one went through.
Well, but when this broke, like I said, about 10 minutes ago, I turned to you and I was like, "What is going on?" You were like, I don't think it's that bad.
I'm just excited, mate.
Come on. Just excited for rumours, mate. That's all it is, yeah. I'm not particularly convinced.
How old is he now?
31. 31 years of age. He's got 12 months left on his current deal. There's the report doesn't suggest a fee, just that Wolves are interested in him, interested FC back again. Only 4 Premier League goals last season, but his minutes were limited. Mateta was playing a lot in front of him.
Mateta, Edouard, Zaha could have played there as well. Yeah, so.
But 86 goals in 280 Premier League games, like you said.
I don't think that's horrific. The strikers have been a lot worse than that,
Yeah, there is.
Although a lot of the goals probably did come 4 or 5 plus years ago.
Yeah, or it takes penalties as well, doesn't he? So that helps. But,
Merchant.
Yeah, tapping Merchant. But he's like, and again, we're going to go back to that profile. He's exactly what we believe that Lage wants. But this is like on a gigantic scale. I don't think I've ever seen him lose a header. He's a joke. He's an absolute specimen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can, as mad as it sounds, if you can rely more on bringing the ball forward through your wide players and central players, giving the ball in around the area, and he'll test the goalkeeper. So let's see. I think it's I don't want to say risk free, because I think there is an element of risk to it. I think fans.
It depends on the fee, though, really.
If you can get him on a loan, I think Palace will want to sell, though. 12 months left in his contract, so that's wait and see.
I mean, what did they pay for him? 35 million all those years ago. People throw shade on Fabio Silva, as people like Benteke go under the radar. He's probably going to be on a decent amount of money as well.
They probably still want maybe like 10 million, I reckon, this summer.
Do you reckon?
They will, yeah.
See, for me, that's not worth it. With a year left on his deal as a 31-year-old who's probably 4th choice.
I don't know. They'd have to be interested to see how Wolves, if they went for him, would structure a deal, because in the article it just said obviously he's on Wolves' list of potential targets. He could be quite down.
Yeah, he's on at least somewhere.
Yeah. So who knows?
Do you think they could potentially structure a deal where Gibbs-White goes the other way? I know Palace had interested in Gibbs-White and quite strongly.
Again, yeah, it's how much you would think it was an acceptable deal. We had a quick chat about it before. 25 million plus Benteke. I think you'd possibly accept that.
I would.
Yeah. Let's wait and see. But that's something that they would probably consider, because it's obvious that they need someone in that sort of area, Palace.
Judging by the reaction on Twitter when you posted the tweet, doesn't look like Wolves fans are getting really excited about it.
I'm sure I'll get a lot of penalties in the comments.
But it's even worse, because people are pissed off at the source and then also pissed off at the actual player that we linked with. So you can't win me that one day. But I can't see that happening.
I can't see it happening, to be honest. But yeah, who knows? It's
who knows? Moving on to an outgoing for Wolves, and it's the ongoing Adama Traore saga. Back in the training camp now, in Alicante with the rest of the squad had flown to Barcelona or drove up to Barcelona for a scan on a hamstring injury. He doesn't look serious. But rumours suggest that Wolves only value him now at £10 million and are willing to do business. Everton and West Ham said to be interested, but in terms of priorities, according to the Athletic, he's not top of the list for Everton. £10 million isn't a lot of money for someone with with those attributes, is it?
If that's true about the 10 million, they must pretty much know that Adama does not, categorically does not want to sign a new deal at the club. Because
I think that ship sailed though, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, but I think I've mentioned it before. It's the same thing as Morgan Gibbs-White. If you can give him a little bit of game time, either of them at the start of the season, and they start well, and I think, actually, hang on, I'm still enjoying my football here, you might have a chance at giving them a new contract. Adama is a lot more risky than Morgan Gibbs-White. And again, a lot of people are saying they'd rather keep him than sell him off for £10 million. I don't know. He's such a good player. He gets you off your seat, but again, until the last 2 games before his loan spell at Barca, he couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo at Wolves. So, I don't know. 10 million, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. I see the pros and the cons for the deal.
You see the pros of the deal if they invest it properly.
But there's no guarantee that they're going to, are they, in the minute? And that's the frustrating thing.
You maybe look at someone like Chiquinho as, in terms of dynamic, someone who could do the same job as Adama. Of course, now he's out for probably going to be the majority of the season. And I still don't think he would get you up the pitch near as much as Adama does. He's a freak of nature, he's a cheat code. Surely it's worth just biting a bullet and saying, look, we got this one wrong. We shouldn't have gone to Barcelona. We'll stay for the rest of the season, and then you lose out on that fee. Because you never know. You may need him in some big games. It could be the difference between finishing 4 places above or 4 places below, and there's your 10 million made up already.
And I don't think it's the type of situation where he'll come on and he won't be asked, because I think he would still come on this season, and because regardless of whether he's at Molineux or not next year, he'll still know that if he's leaving on a free, he could demand some serious wages at whatever club he goes to next. So if he can put on a couple of decent displays this season, he's going to be able to get much more money.
He's playing for his future, whether that's at Wolves or somewhere else. And I mean, at the minute, his stock is... It's not at what it once was. I remember Jeff Shee was quoting €100 million for him, which it looks daft now. But like I said, he's playing for his future now. And if, like you said, if he has a good season at Wolves and he doesn't sign a new deal, which would be frustrating, there's going to be bigger and better clubs who want him, and he can command more money. However, if he stays at Wolves, has a poor season, barely features, looks half-arsed, you're probably looking at teams who are coming up from the Prem, taking him on a similar wage he's on now. And we know that he turned down a massive contract at Wolves anyway. It's all a bit...
I can see for Wolves it's such a difficult decision. Obviously we don't know for fact that is the value.
This is just assumptions.
Yeah, but I think 15 million, I think people will be like, sound. But 10, it's just a little bit of a grey area. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but with the way Wolves and the areas Wolves are looking at in the market, that could get you still a decent player. You got to bear in mind someone like Chiquinho cost us 4 or 5 million euros. Yeah. Dario Osorio, who Wolves have been linked with, again only 5 million euros. If he's as good as South Americans are making out, then there's still good business to be made, even if you sell Adama for 10 million. But it's trusting the club to make those deals. Yeah.
Well, let's touch on the Osorio deal. It keeps cropping up, doesn't it, in the press in Chile? Has it stalled? Is there genuine interest? What's going on?
I don't know. It doesn't seem. It's one of those things, and we sort of had a discussion earlier today about it, where it's one of those things where an article or story crops up, and we've gained no extra information than what we knew 2 weeks prior.
A lot of rehashing of information.
Yeah, but it's the exact same thing with Mateus Nunes. People will send me a link saying, "Oh, Dave, have you seen this?" And I read it. I was there I knew all of this information 3 weeks ago. His situation has not changed. It's Arbola record, Ojogo, almost trying to get a few more clicks. And it's sort of the same with this. He'd done really well for Chile under 20s last week. He was let go by his club, let go by the international duty, because he was playing for his club last weekend. Obviously a few people looked into that, thought, well, maybe he's going to come to Wolves, but It said that Wolves are front runners, but he's obviously a talented player. He's been linked with Madrid, Man City. So it's just up to Wolves to try and get the deal over the line, I think.
I mean, if Manchester City and Real Madrid are interested, then you can kiss goodbye to signing him.
But I think, well, with him as well, I know Wolves want to do business quick. And I always remember it was last year's Ask Wolves. Jeff Shee said, although they want to do business early, it's almost impossible to do it orderly business right at the start. Well, you got to think from who's his club? Is it Universidad? Yeah.
The
think
Chileans,
from there. Think up from their point of view. If they could accept €5 million for him now, or wait 3 or 4 weeks for him to have another, really continue his strong campaign, they could demand almost double of that, and for them it's a huge amount of money. So I sort of get it from their point of view as well, that clubs probably are stalling a little bit to try and get a little bit more money.
Yeah, and like Jeff said, it's almost impossible to get deals done early. And on the contrary to that, we had Bruno Lage saying that he wanted all his players in before the start of pre-season. It's just another case of Bruno being too honest, isn't it? Really, he probably got a slap on the wrist again from Jeff, because it just puts the club. I get it, but it puts them under unnecessary pressure.
To be fair, Bruno said he wants the majority of his squad sorted before pre-season, and to be fair, this probably is the majority of his squad. He's probably going to get like 2 or 3 more players. So.
Yeah, I think if we're expecting an influx of 5 or 6 players, it's not going to happen.
Like we've said before,
not first team players anyway.
I think they fully expected the Neves deal to go through and them to have this pot of money that they could spend, and it's not happened, which isn't a bad thing. But at the same time, it sort of scuppered any transfer plans.
It's not a bad thing, but what do you do with the Neves situation there? Because he's a wonderful footballer. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Personally, I think if the right offer comes in, you sell him this window if he's not going to sign that new contract, because it's going to leave us in such a precarious position next summer.
They might have the belief that he's going to sign a new deal, and that's the thing. We don't know.
Sign the thing then.
Yeah, sign the contract.
get it done. Like, you can get that done surely internally. I know they probably won't do it while they're in
I think
Spain.
they'll wait till the end of the window. Everyone kicking off again after every window. And he'll sign sign the team.
It's a bit frustrating. Of course, we had the Collins deal that went through last week, which is a really good signing, really astute business. Got to give the club some credit for that, but it's almost gone a little bit flat again now, hasn't it? People have rode the wave of the new signing, and it's back to what are these clowns doing?
Yes. Oh, that turned around really quick. Was it last Monday? So we released the pod last Monday, and there was no real imminent whispers of it. So the news came out last Monday, and by Tuesday evening the deal was done, and obviously he was off to Alicante. So looking forward to actually seeing him play tomorrow for the first time. Obviously in a Wolves shirt, but yeah, it's gone a little bit flat, but mainly because there hasn't been any sort of concrete rumours again. So we're all relying on whispers and some foreign fans mentioning said players, or Gabriel Barbosa waving to his fans, and Wolves fans not clicking for another 2 or 3 days after it actually happened.
I don't think it's going to happen whilst we're in Alicante though, because like Scott
there'll be no other signings until next week. But I think if Wolves want to sign players, it's got to be done before next weekend. Because you got the Sporting and Ferenc games. They're like your last 2 pre-season games. You've got to do them then.
Do you think they'll get another couple in before the Leeds game? What's that?
One at least.
One at least.
They've got to get one in at least.
Because otherwise, the bench is going to be populated by the likes of Conor Ronan, Dexter Lembakisa, maybe Theo Corbiano, Chem Campbell, those kind of players who which we'll probably be able to report back on a little bit better after tomorrow's game and Saturday's game. Well, even the Levante game on Wednesday. But on the surface, it doesn't look great,
on paper,
does
it doesn't look a strong. Our first 11's good, and that's I think our first 11 is really good. But the bench is obviously a cause of concern. You want to be in a position where you can take one player off and know that the player you're bringing on is going to do equally a decent job. And right now, you can't guarantee that for every position. I don't think.
No, and you understand the frustration from some fans, and we say it quite frequently that. You've got on one hand, and typically older fans who are like, remember where we were, like trust Fosun, they've done miraculous things for us, and then you've got usually the younger fans who say like Fosun out there clowns, they haven't got a clue. The truth lies somewhere in the middle usually, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I see some fans probably like in their 30s saying the Fosun out thing, and I see older fans saying it as well. But then there's people probably a little bit younger that are pretty level-headed with it. I think I've said before, I think of people around my age, a little bit younger, when you've really got into and understand football, all you've seen is like League One, Championship, good year in Championship, Premier League, Europa League,
Yeah.
and now this is the first time we sort of, I'm not saying we're going downhill, but sort of it's like,
stagnated a little bit.
Exactly
after
that.
the Nuno season.
So
anyway.
yeah, but as football fans, it's not just Wolves. Football fans in general, we're spoiled people. We pay a lot of money to see our football team, and we just want to see good results, good football.
We do.
Lots of players come in and out. So.
And we're all just chomping at the bit for more signings, more rumours, and
have more content on Talking Wolves.
exactly.
As well.
And this is why we're here. But I think that's an apt place to leave it there. I think we're going to go and sample what Benidorm has to offer. Maybe some Star Wars shows. Is that what we talked about with
Not tonight.
No, not
It's
tonight.
Too early. Too early. Who knows?
Yeah, we're going to have a bit of food and a few beers. Dave, where can people find you? Should they wish to follow you, mate?
Yeah, it's at Dave Has a Party, Twitter and obviously Instagram as well. If you want to see what
You're
we're
back
up
on
to.
Instagram now as well.
Public on Instagram.
Oh, you're public on Instagram. Well, normally, if you go public on Instagram, I go private, and we don't talk about it. It just seems to happen.
Nah, we're both public, I reckon.
Yeah, we are both.
Yeah.
We are both public.
Get on it to see our Benidorm.
Yeah, I'm M Cooper Wrights on Instagram and Twitter. Of course, follow me on there. You can see what we're up to. Talking Wolves is at Talking Wolves across all of our socials. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. It really does help with our ratings. And until tomorrow, enjoy yourself. If you are out here, take care. It's very warm. And if you are at home, take care. It's very warm. Until tomorrow, see you then.
See you guys.